Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Lincoln Riley, this USC program, gearing up for what seems to be just a monster recruiting weekend on campus this weekend for USC. Now, the USC fans who've been rocking with the boys for really the last couple of years, you all know we preview these recruiting weekends, but we normally just do one episode. For this one in particular, we had to split it up into two. And so we're going to do one tonight. We're going to do one on Thursday night as well. We're going to look at least in my opinion, the most intriguing offensive names tonight. Going to take a look at the defensive side of the football on Thursday afternoon. This is a good chance for me to really dig in to some of these 2026 prospects. Now, the thing that stands out to me is one, massive emphasis on the state of California. And that really does seem to be a trend for USC in this 2026 class. We've talked extensively about Lincoln Riley really failing to recruit the state of California his first couple of years. It looks like a pretty clear shift in terms of mentality in USC and how they want to build this roster. Ton of the top talent from the state of California coming on campus, and you already look at what they've done in the 2026 class up until this point. It's a top 3 class in the country. 5 of the 8 commitments from the state of California. That is what it needs to look like if Lincoln Riley is going to be successful as the head coach of this USC program. Now, I want to get into some of the names before we do, and as always, just want to say thank you to you guys and to the USC fans. I will say this, it feels different. You know, the buzz around USC on the recruiting trail. I'm hoping it's going to be a really fun next couple of weeks and months breaking down commitments. Can't thank you guys enough for all the support. USC fans, particularly when we talk recruiting, you guys show out, and it means the world. It's something I love talking about. Appreciate you guys. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Without further ado, let's get into it now. One of the things we talked about when Chad Bowden took over as the general manager of this football program, the line of scrimmage is going to be prioritized on the high school recruiting trail. We've talked about it for years, but you look at the landscape of college football, look, you can go to the transfer portal and land a running back, land some wide receivers. It's really hard to go out into the transfer portal and build an offensive line. You got to get these bodies at the high school ranks. And I mean, this will be the first recruiting weekend for Chad Bowden. They're wasting no time getting some of the top names on the offensive line on campus for USC. I want to start with my favorite, Sam Mutu from California. This kid's incredible to watch on the film. He has tackle athleticism and a guard body. And so what I mean by that is, look, I think he can play tackle at the Power 4 level in the Big Ten. He is a phenomenal athlete. He's a really good volleyball player too. You know, 6'4", 300 pounds, elite volleyball player. You see that athleticism get translated to the football field. Super light on his feet. Great at climbing to the second level. But then when you see him engage with people, I mean, again, it's a shorter, squattier body with some real power to him. Certainly has that power to play guard as well. This one would make so much sense when you have the ability to get a guy that probably looks like a guard and will be a really good guard, but also gives you some of that tackle versatility. You talk about trying to build your best offensive line possible, getting guys that can move around and give you some position flex, really important on the recruiting trail. Sam Mutu, love the film, really, really like the athletic profile, and love the position versatility. Immediately should be one of the top targets for USC in the 2026 class. Another offensive lineman that I really like that will be on campus, Vlad Dekanov. Now, he kind of reminds me a little bit of Tobias Raymond coming out, right? It's a slender frame. He's up to around 270. So we're going 6'7", 270 pounds. Certainly needs a year to kind of fill out that frame. We talked about it with Alex Payne, too, in the 2025 class. These are my kind of offensive tackles where, all right, we love the athleticism. We love the frame that you have. Now we just got to put weight on you. I would prefer someone 6'7", 270 over someone that's 6'6", 360 pounds. Because when you get a 360-pound pop, let me slow down. When you get a tackle that's coming out of high school that goes 360 pounds, normally they ain't that good of an athlete. And it's a lot harder to teach a big tackle to lose weight and become an athlete. It's a lot easier. To put weight on a really good athlete, put weight on him the right way, and maintain that athleticism and get the play strength up. Vlad Dekanov, he's not a year one guy. Certainly would need a year or two to really put some weight on. Think he could be a really, really good offensive tackle during his college football career. Those are the two offensive linemen that stand out to me the most. Again, with Chad Bowden at the helm, really being in charge of what they're doing from a talent acquisition standpoint, I would expect it to be a strong emphasis on line of scrimmage players. It's probably going to be a strong class from what you're seeing on the offensive line. Now, probably the biggest name that is a TBH from what I've seen, whether he's going to be on campus or not, Ryder Lyons. Obviously, a very familiar name. USC's top target at the quarterback spot in this 2026 cycle. If you can stack Hassan Longstreet, Ryder Lyons, we're back to how the quarterback room should look like for Lincoln Riley and USC. We've talked about Ryder Lyons for a really long time. This is a guy that, one, fits what Lincoln Riley wants to do. You look at the quarterbacks that USC has had, or less USC, more Lincoln Riley has had success with. Guys that, one, can make all the throws from the pocket. Ryder Lyons certainly can do that. But guys that can create, guys that can throw off platform, get outside the pocket, that's probably my favorite aspect of Ryder Lyons' game. I mean, he's a really twitchy athlete that knows how to get out of trouble, really can give defenses problems with what he can do extending plays. And this kid's a gamer. Like, he takes on contact. He makes throws with a lot of trash in his face. He checks all the boxes for me. You watch him and say that's a Lincoln Riley quarterback. You take a look at the high school numbers. I mean, they're kind of off the charts. He's thrown for over, I'm trying to find his numbers, 6,500 passing yards, 84 touchdowns to only 14 interceptions with a 68% completion percentage. He knows how to take care of the football. He knows how to make big-time throws. He's a gamer at the quarterback position. We obviously, brother plays for USC right now. It sounds like USC is probably the leader in this race. Can you lock it up if he's on campus this weekend? We'll see if USC can. Now, another name, and this one's kind of funny because, Georgia got USC a couple times in terms of flipping guys, a guy like Isaiah Gibson. Can you get him back here with Vance Spadford, right? Committed to Georgia, Cali kid. This one will be hard for Georgia to hold on. And then you look at Georgia, the future of this program, there's a lot of murkiness in terms of what the quarterback position is going to look like and really what this offense is going to look like for Georgia over the next couple of years. They've had some problems with the quarterback spot and wide receiver spot. Can you poach Vance Spadford? Very similar to how Georgia poached a guy like Isaiah Gibson. That's probably what you're looking for. Vance Spadford, I mean, what it starts with sometimes we get too wrapped up in the athletic profile, forget to take a look at the football player. Vance Spadford, his sophomore year, 83 catches for over 1,500 yards, 22 touchdowns, averaged almost 20 yards per catch. Now, he does have burners too. 10-6-9 100-meter dash. You see that translate to the football field. Really good with the football in the air too. Like, he's not the biggest wide receiver, but in the contested catch situations, this kid is really impressive. Maybe right now, and this is more just as a young wide receiver, a little one-dimensional with his route tree. Like, he's just kind of a vertical guy, but you see the short area twitch. Now, can you translate that into his route tree is probably the question. When you have a 10-6-9 guy in the 100-meter dash that has the high school production that Vance Spadford has, sign me up all day for this kid. Now, another name that I think, again, you talk about the future of Lincoln Riley, recruiting your hometown, recruiting your backyard, so to speak. Mark Bowen at the tight end spot. He's a reclass kid from 2027 to 2026. I have no question marks. Similar to how we talk about Jakeem Stewart. I ain't got no question marks about Mark Bowen reclass into 2026 because this kid is an absolute specimen at the tight end spot. 6'4", 230, really smooth mover. Like, just find me a linebacker that can run with him, a safety that can deal with his frame. You talk about weapon and there's just not that many of these guys, guys who are legitimate weapons as pass catchers. Mark Bowen's one of them. And one of the things that stands out is, again, he's a young pup, right? He lines up in line at Mater Dei, blocks his ever-loving tail off too. And so I look at him and say, you talk about tight ends being the laboratory. There's a reason this guy's like fringe 5-star prospect, probably will be a 5-star prospect when it's all said and done. Sign me up for Mark Bowen. And again, all the heavy hitters are here, right? Georgia, Texas, Oregon. can you keep a local kid, a hometown kid, home at USC? These, to me, are the recruiting battles that are going to determine Lincoln Riley's success as USC's football coach. Last one I want to talk about, a guy that probably is on commitment watch here, Deshaun Rideau from Oaks Christian. 5'10", 195, like really, really strong lower half. It kind of reminds you like the Blake Corum build a little bit. Deals with contact exceptionally well, and he runs a 10-4 in the 100-meter dash. And what stands out to me about Deshaun is, look, he's really fast in a straight line. It doesn't take, I mean, you just can tell with the 10-4 in the 100-meter dash, and it certainly adds up when you watch the film. The short area, the ability to make people miss. And this is the problem I just use in track times. Like sometimes we get so wrapped up in, hey, how fast can you run in a straight line? The running back spot, you got to be able to make people miss. You have to be able to have those short area quicks. I'd say it's more important than being really fast in a straight line. He has that as well. I would be surprised if he does not finish as a top 75 national prospect. Checks off all the boxes, good contact balance, legit burns, makes people miss in a phone booth. It's a loaded weekend for USC. And this is just the offense. And quite frankly, we didn't even talk about some of the names that also probably are noteworthy. On Thursday, we'll dive into the defense. Probably need just a little bit more time to dig my teeth into this 2026 class. But look, we're off and running. And for those who like to follow the recruiting trail, going to be a fun next couple of weeks and months. It sounds like for this USC program. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later.